So every year, hundreds of thousands of people board a plane, just to get world-class medical care for maybe half the price they'd pay at home.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the savings are a huge draw for people.
Right. But here's the crazy part. Almost 90% of them start their journey by making this one critical mistake.
Yeah, it's really the ultimate self-sabotage in medical travel.
And the frustrating thing is they probably think they're being savvy consumers, right?
Exactly. When
Right.
in reality, they're completely compromising their own safety before they even, pack a bag.
Well, welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are opening up a really fascinating stack of sources, specifically the data and the internal playbook from PlacidWay.
It's a great deep dive for today.
Yeah, and our mission is to hand you, our listener, the insider playbook, basically the cheat codes for navigating the incredibly complex and sometimes murky world of international medical travel.
Because it really can be murky.
Totally. Because whether you are looking into dental implants, bariatric surgery, or maybe advanced stem cell therapy, the sheer volume of slick websites out there is just daunting.
It's an absolute maze. I mean, you can easily get lost.
Right.
But stepping into this global healthcare landscape safely is entirely possible. You just have to understand the mechanics of how elite vetted clinics operate versus, well, the dangerous discount-driven ones.
So let's start with that massive mistake we teased at the very beginning. I am putting myself in the shoes of a patient. I'm overwhelmed. I'm looking at options abroad. I open a clinic's contact form and I type, what?
Yeah.
Like, what is this trap?
It's usually a 3-word message. They just type how much is or simply how much.
Really? Just how much?
Just that. That's the trap. A patient finds a clinic online, ignores all the medical nuance, and just asks for the baseline price of a procedure.
Okay, I actually have to push back on that right away because healthcare is a service, right? And cost is the primary driver for people crossing borders in the first place.
Sure, absolutely.
So if I ask a mechanic how much to rebuild an engine, they can at least give me a ballpark range. Why is asking a clinic for a price dangerous?
Well, because a mechanic knows the exact make and model of the car the second you pull into the lot.
Okay, fair point.
A doctor receiving a blank email has absolutely zero biological context. So when you strip away your specific health situation and just ask for a dollar amount, you signal to the market that you are only looking for a bargain.
Oh, I see.
You're filtering out the elite doctors. A world-class surgeon won't quote you blindly because, frankly, they know their medical license and your life are on the line.
So the top-tier clinics might just, ignore that email entirely?
They often do. Which means the only people who reply to a how much email are the volume-driven, lower-tier clinics that compete solely on discounts.
Wow.
Yeah, you just end up in a sales funnel run by administrators,
Oh.
not actual medical professionals.
It's like shopping for a parachute and sorting the results by price low to high.
It is a terrifying analogy, but yes, exactly.
Right. You are completely ignoring the safety protocols, the quality of the nylon, all to save $50. And if the shoot fails, the discount really doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at all.
So if how much gets me ignored by the good doctors, what is the right question?
To instantly spot an elite clinic, your first inquiry needs to ask 3 specific things.
Okay, let's hear them.
First, ask about specific doctor credentials. Like, where did they train and do they hold international board certifications?
Got it. What's the second?
Second, ask about their complication protocols. If an infection occurs, who covers the cost of the extended ICU stay?
Oh, that's a really good one. People never think about the worst case scenario.
Exactly. And third, and this is the real cheat code, honestly ask what is explicitly excluded from their package.
Oh, wow. That really forces their hand. If they tell you what's excluded, you suddenly realize why their baseline price looked so incredibly cheap in the first place.
Precisely. You might find out that anesthesia, pre-op blood work, and the hotel stay for your recovery are all billed separately.
Right, the hidden fees.
An elite clinic will give you a transparent, itemized response right away because they have nothing to hide.
Okay, that makes total sense for the initial contact, but let's look at the digital reality here. Let's say 2 different clinics reply.
Okay.
They both give me decent answers. They both have these beautiful, slick websites with high-definition photos of smiling doctors in pristine lobbies. A website is just marketing, So how do you actually verify who is legitimate?
That brings us to the ultimate safety net. It's the greatest BS detector in international medicine. We call it the virtual consultation or the case review.
Walk us through the mechanics of that. Why does a video call change the dynamic so drastically?
Because a real medical expert demands data, before they discuss money or travel.
They want the hard facts.
Exactly. During a virtual consultation, the specialist will require your actual medical records. Like if you're looking at fertility treatments, they need to see your AMH levels.
Which is an indicator of ovarian reserve,
Yeah.
right?
Right, it's a
Yeah.
hormone test. Or if you need neurosurgery, they need your MRI scans. They require this biological data to provide a personalized, realistic outcome, and they do it face-to-face on the call.
So if a clinic is willing to schedule a surgery date without ever seeing your blood work or your
Then the
stance,
other way, absolutely.
let's hang up the phone.
Yeah. The PlacidWay data highlights a perfect example of how this should work, actually. Look at the case of Sarah. She's a patient from Ontario, Canada.
Okay.
She was dealing with debilitating type 2 diabetes. The neuropathy in her feet was so severe, she could barely stand up.
Oh, that's awful.
It was. And she felt like her local healthcare system was just putting her on an assembly line of symptom management, prescribing more insulin, but offering no systemic healing.
So she was looking for a biological intervention, not just a Band-Aid.
Yes. So she explored stem cell therapy in Mexico City at a facility called Mex Stem Cells Clinic. But they didn't just accept her money and tell her to fly down.
Right, they asked for the data.
Exactly. They required all her Canadian medical records first. Then, she had an intensive virtual video consultation with the lead specialist. They spent over an hour together.
Over an hour. That's thorough.
Very thorough. He looked at her charts, explained the specific biology of mesenchymal stem cells, how they actually differentiate and target inflamed, damaged nerve tissue. And he set very realistic expectations about what could and could not be achieved.
That completely shifts the power dynamic. You aren't just a consumer buying a package at that point. You are a patient collaborating with a physician.
Exactly. We saw the same protocol with Arthur, a 64-year-old from the UK. He suffered a severe stroke that impaired his speech and right side mobility.
Okay, so a major neurological event.
Massive. He found Cell Center in Bratislava, Slovakia. And the turning point for him wasn't the fancy website. It was the virtual consultation.
Talking to the actual doctor.
Right. Seeing the lead neurologist, having the doctor map out the neuroregenerative protocols based on Arthur's specific brain scans that dissolved all the anxiety of leaving the UK.
But, I mean, the consultation is just a conversation, right? What prevents a clinic from overpromising on Zoom and then under-delivering in the operating room?
Well, that leads to the golden rule of medical travel. The moment that virtual consultation ends, you must demand that the final treatment plan, all medical approvals, and every single package inclusion be put exclusively in writing.
Exclusively in writing, which means no casual phone assurances, no like, oh, don't worry, we'll take care of your local transfers when you land.
None of that.
Yeah.
When you are dealing with cross-border healthcare, you are navigating different legal jurisdictions, language nuances, and time zones.
Right.
So having every single detail in writing acts as a concrete shield against any verbal miscommunication.
I understand the logic here, but let's look at the practical application for a second. Because a severe stroke requiring neuroregeneration in Slovakia is vastly different from getting a dental filling in Mexico.
Oh, completely different.
The biology, the logistics, the intent, they are entirely different. Does this same broad framework apply to everything?
That's a great observation, and the answer is no. Every procedure requires a radically different strategy. The traps actually change depending on what you're getting done.
Interesting.
Yeah, the PlacidWay playbook actually guides case assignments based on these unique scenarios. To really equip the listener, we need to walk through 5 specific how-to blueprints just to explain the hidden mechanics behind each journey.
Let's do it. Rapid fire. Blueprint number 1. How to prepare for dental implants abroad. What is the specific trap here?
For dentistry, the trap is the timeline. Let's look at a patient like Brenda from the U.S., who traveled to state-of-art medical center in Nuevo Progreso, Mexico.
Okay.
In complex dentistry, especially implants, you cannot just look at the cost of the titanium post. You have to understand the biology of osseointegration.
Meaning how the bone actually heals and fuses to the implant.
Correct. That healing process takes months, so an implant requires a trip for the surgical placement, a waiting period, and a second or even third trip to place the abutment and the final crown.
Oh, I see where this is gone.
Yeah. The trap is patients see a quote for a $300 implant, but they fail to ask about the exact number of trips required. Once you factor in 3 separate round-trip flights and hotel stays, your bargain has completely evaporated.
You have to plan for the biological timeline, not just the clinical cost.
Exactly.
So dental is a timeline trap. But what happens when the timeline is incredibly short, like a 2-hour surgery, but the biological impact is permanent? That brings us to blueprint number 2. How to compare bariatric surgery packages.
For weight loss surgery, the focus has to be on hidden costs and aftercare. Tijuana, Mexico is a massive global hub for bariatric procedures.
Right, you hear about that a lot.
You do. But the danger here is not knowing how to compare a standard surgical package with an all-inclusive one.
What's the fundamental difference in those packages?
Well, a standard package generally covers the operating room, the anesthesiologist, and the surgeon's time.
Makes sense.
But bariatric surgery alters your digestive system permanently. Often reducing stomach volume by up to 80%. You don't just need surgery, you need to relearn how to absorb nutrients.
Wow, yeah.
So an all-inclusive package should cover local hotel stays for initial recovery, secure transfers from the San Diego airport, and most importantly, long-term post-op nutritional guidance.
Because if they don't provide a long-term dietary roadmap, you risk severe malnutrition a year down the line. You're paying for the safe transition back to normal life, not just the hour on the operating table.
Exactly. And that nutritional support must be guaranteed in writing.
Now, bariatric is heavily focused on the post-op reality. But what if you are traveling to create life? The traps have to shift entirely. Blueprint number 3, navigating IVF abroad.
IVF is where things get deeply complex. The focus here shifts to emotional intent and strict legal boundaries.
Legal boundaries.
Yeah. With IVF, a cheap baseline price is completely irrelevant because your individual biological factors dictate the entire protocol.
Give me an example of how biology changes the price tag.
Let's look at age and ovarian reserve. If a patient is 42 years old, her AMH levels are going to be vastly different than a 28-year-old's.
Right.
She might require higher doses of stimulation medications or multiple retrieval cycles, which changes the cost exponentially. Furthermore, you are navigating destination-specific laws.
Like where?
Take Greece, which is a massive hub for fertility tourists.
Really? Why Greece?
Well, they have highly advanced clinics, but they also have strict legal regulations regarding the maximum age for treatment, which is tied to the ethics of maternal health.
Interesting.
They also have specific laws regarding donor egg anonymity. You need a clinic that addresses the legal realities of your age and profile, not just a clinic pushing a generic package that might not even be legally viable for you once you land.
So with IVF, you essentially have to be a legal researcher and a biologist. That is a heavy lift. Let's pivot to something where gravity and physics are the main opponents. Blueprint number 4, verifying cosmetic surgery safety. I feel like this is where social media creates the most dangerous illusions.
Oh, it absolutely does. For cosmetic surgery, the entire focus must be on objective trust and accreditation. You cannot rely on an Instagram before and after photo.
Right, filters are everywhere.
Exactly. You need to reveal the clinic's actual audited standing. You have to check for international hospital accreditations, like the JCI, the Joint Commission International.
Let's define that because JCI gets thrown around a lot. What does that actually mean for the patient lying on the table?
It means the hospital isn't just visually clean. It means they have redundant backup power systems if the grid fails during your surgery.
Wow.
It means their infection control protocols match the strictest standards in the US or Europe. And if you are in Mexico, you also want to look for COFEPRIS approval, which is their federal health commission, roughly equivalent to the FDA.
But the facility is only half the equation, right? What about the surgeon?
You must verify the surgeon's specific experience in handling international patients. Medical travel introduces a massive variable. Flight.
Oh, the flight itself.
Yeah, a local surgeon might be great, but if they don't understand the physics of altitude, cabin pressure, and how that affects post-operative swelling and hypercoagulability.
Wait, hypercoagulability, that's the risk of deep vein thrombosis, right? Blood clots from sitting on a plane after a major trauma to the body.
Yes, exactly. If a surgeon doesn't have strict protocols for how many days you must remain on the ground before flying home, you should not be booking with them.
If cosmetic surgery is about managing established physics, then blueprint number 5 is about navigating the bleeding edge of science. How to evaluate stem cell therapy.
This is the frontier. And the focus here has to be aggressively on medical reviews and national regulations.
Okay.
The PlacidWay data shows a huge influx of patients traveling to Japan for anti-aging and cellular vitality treatments. For example, patient S from Singapore, or a couple who traveled from Hong Kong to Cell Grand Clinic in Osaka.
Why is Japan the destination for this? Like, what do they have that other places don't?
It's all about their regulatory framework. Japan enacted the Act on the Safety of Regenerative Medicine, which heavily monitors how cells are cultivated and administered.
So it's very strictly governed.
Very. But even with good laws, the patient's responsibility is crucial. You have to provide extensive past medical records so the clinic can evaluate your vascular health. They need to know if your body can actually support the integration of these new cells.
And what about the cells themselves? Because I've read that not all stem cell treatments are created equal.
Oh, not even close.
Yeah.
You have to ask the clinic about their cryopreservation and thawing methods. Think about the physics of freezing something. If cells are aggressively frozen and poorly thawed, ice crystals form.
Oh, like putting a strawberry in the freezer. When you take it out and thaw it, it's just mush because the ice crystals expanded and shattered the cell walls.
That is the perfect analogy.
Wow.
Yeah, if a clinic shatters the cell walls of the stem cells during the thawing process, they're essentially injecting you with dead cellular debris. You will get zero regenerative benefit. You must verify that the clinic guarantees highly viable, undiluted cells. Usually you're looking for a viability rate above 95%.
Okay, I have to stop you here because honestly, I'm exhausted just listening to this.
It's a lot, I know.
We're telling a listener who might be dealing with chronic pain or fighting debilitating diabetes like Sarah or recovering from a stroke that they need to, what? Audit JCI power grids, research Greek fertility laws, understand the biology of bone integration, and interrogate clinics on the physics of ice crystals destroying cell walls.
Yeah.
I mean, it's too much. A sick patient cannot act as an international medical private investigator. It's a logistical nightmare.
You are entirely right. It is a massive, complex puzzle. And the reality is when you are fighting an illness, your cognitive load should be spent on healing, not on vetting foreign medical licenses.
Exactly.
You shouldn't have to manage this alone. And that is the exact reason the PlacidWay ecosystem exists.
So how does that ecosystem actually function for the patient? Like, how does it alleviate all this pressure?
Think of PlacidWay as a highly secure platform, acting as your ultimate consumer shield. They step in to handle all the complex logistics we just spent the last 10 minutes outlining.
Okay.
They manage transparent administrative service fees, ensuring you aren't hit with surprise charges or hidden clinic costs that weren't in the original quote.
That's a huge relief.
And most importantly, they use their data to ensure your case assignment goes only to fully vetted elite doctors.
So they act as a filtering mechanism before the patient even sees the options. They basically weed out the clinics that just reply with how much.
That's the core of it.
Yeah.
They have already audited the accreditations, they know who holds JCI status, they have verified the doctor's credentials, and established secure, encrypted communication channels.
Wow.
So when a patient reaches out through this platform, the coordinators organize your local medical records, securely transmit them to the right international specialists, and facilitate that vital virtual consultation.
It sounds like having a dedicated concierge who already knows which doors lead to world-class accredited care and which doors lead to dangerous dead ends. You just get to bypass the guesswork.
They bridge the gap. They absorb the administrative burden so you can focus entirely on the medical decision.
That is incredible.
So my empowering final message to everyone listening who is considering this path is simple. Don't just search for a price. Search for a partner.
I love that.
Head to PlacidWay.com to start your vetted journey today. Do not compromise your safety for a cheap tag. Find a secure platform that will put your health first, verify the science, and put it all in writing.
Search for a partner. I think that perfectly encapsulates the shift in mindset required here. Healthcare is incredibly intimate, even when it involves crossing an ocean.
It really is.
And that leaves us with a final thought to mull over today, because for decades, we have been conditioned to think that our healthcare options started at our local city limits, you know?
Yeah, people just wait.
Right. If the local wait list for a specialist is 2 years long, or a regenerative treatment isn't approved in our home country yet, we just resign ourselves to waiting. But as we've seen today, from Sarah managing her diabetes in Mexico, to Arthur finding his voice again in Slovakia, to patients crossing from Singapore to Japan for cellular vitality international borders, are no longer the limit of your medical care.
Not anymore.
They are simply the beginning of your personalized options. And as technology advances, it really makes you wonder. With the rapid evolution of virtual reality, 5G networks, and remote robotics, how long will it be until we don't even need to board that plane?
That's a wild thought.
In a decade, will that elite surgeon in Slovakia be operating on you while you lie comfortably in a clinic in your hometown? I mean, the borders of medicine are fading fast. Just remember to pack your parachute carefully, demand the data, and never settle for the cheapest option on the rack. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Stay curious, stay informed, and take control of your health.